Hey guys, what's going on, and welcome back to another video. Today's video, we're going to be putting Odell Beckham Jr. on the Dallas Cowboys and see how the team plays out for a season on Madden 17. So we traded away draft picks for Odell so we could get him on the team, because I'm not going to be playing more than one season, so it wouldn't really affect the next seasons. So it didn't really matter to trade away draft picks. And I traded away Tony Romo because obviously we're going to have Dak start. But let's get in. We're going to sim a season to see how they do with Odell there. The first game, they get crushed by the Giants by 45-6. Dak Prescott on his first game ever threw 2 picks, 160 yards. Not good at all. Alfred Morris had 58 yards rushing because Ezekiel Elliott got hurt in the preseason. So that's why he's out. And in Odell's first game with the Cowboys, he caught 1 pass, so not good at all to start. And let's move on to the next week here. Simulate this one, and we will lose again to the Redskins by 16. And Dak Prescott in this game, a little better stats than the first game, but still not as good. Alfred Morris running for 80 yards, and receiving Dez Bryant and Odell do lead the way. Not too impressive games, but decent games at that. So 0-2 the Cowboys are, but we will pick up our first victory week 3 versus the Bears. Dak Prescott throwing a lot of interceptions, but they did pick out the W, so it worked out okay in the end. Dez Bryant having a pretty good game, and Odell down with 3 receptions, 24 yards, so nothing too impressive so far from Odell Beckham. Moving on, simulating week 4, the Cowboys will pick up another win versus the 49ers this week. Dak Prescott throwing for about 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, and Ezekiel Elliott coming back this game, running for 77 yards. And Odell Beckham with his first outstanding game of the season with 9 receptions, 101 yards to lead the way to help them with the victory. Next week, we do pick up a loss against the Bengals to make us 2-3. Andy Dalton having a nice game, and Ezekiel Elliott only running for 44 yards on the day, so that did probably hurt us a lot. Dez Bryant led the way with Odell right behind him, so Odell had a decent game that one too. Next game, we do lose to the Packers, however, to drop us to 2-4. Dak had a pretty nice game receiving-wise. Dez Bryant had a great game, and Odell is towards the bottom here with 4 receptions for 32 yards. Moving on to the next week, we do pick up another loss, this time against the Eagles, moving to 2-5. Cowboys not having a great season with Odell on the team. 4 receptions for Odell during that game. Next week against the Browns, we do pick up the victory to move on to 3-5, I believe. And Elliott having a pretty good game. Odell Beckham leading the way with 6 receptions for only 39 yards. Moving on now, against the Steelers, we will lose by 4 points. Close game. Dak Prescott having his best game of the season, 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. Receiving-wise, Dez Bryant had a really good game, and Odell had a decent 6 receptions for about 56 yards. Next game, against the Ravens, we will pick up the upset victory because the Ravens were 8-1 before this game. Now 8-2 because they lost to us. Dak had a pretty nice game. Alfred Morris taking most of the handoffs, I guess, because I guess Ezekiel Elliott was hurt in this game. So he does get a lot of reps this season. Next game against the Redskins, we pick up another victory. The Cowboys trying to pull some wins together here to try and make the postseason. Receptions-wise, Dez Bryant had a great game, and Odell had a pretty decent game with 5 receptions for 75 yards. Next game, we played the Vikings, and I'm not sure if he won or lost, couldn't read it. Dak had a decent game. AP had a pretty nice game. Elliott only 66 yards. And here's receptions. Dez having a decent game, and Odell having a pretty low game with only 3 receptions. Next game against the Giants, we do pick out a win after getting crushed by them in the first game. We do end up beating them and doing pretty nice here. Odell against his former team, 5 receptions for 71 yards, and Dez around the same with a little more yards. But moving on here, week 15, the Cowboys are 7-7 and still leading the division, even though they're only 7-7. So if they can pull off another win or 2 here, they can clinch the division, and that'd be pretty nice. Here, this game they do win against the Buccaneers, and Odell Beckham having pretty good game right behind Des Bryant. Seems like Des Bryant is leading every game by just 1 or 2. And here the Cowboys are 8-7, so they have clinched the division as the Eagles are closest behind them, 6-8-1. So the Cowboys will win the division and move on to the playoffs, even though they had a mediocre season win-loss wise. Next game, Odell did not well. During that game, Odell did lead the wide receivers with a pretty nice game. So that's his second pretty nice game of the season. So to end off the season, we do win the division by 2 games, 9-7 over the Giants, 7-9. And here's the final stats. Dak Prescott having a pretty decent season towards the end there. 4,400 passing yards, 30-some touchdowns, 17 picks, a little bit of picks, but what can you do? Yards and rushing, Ezekiel Elliott had 800 even with missing a few games. Alfred Morris had 500. The big thing here, Des Bryant 98, 1,300 receiving, and Odell having 83, 800. So Odell coming to the Cowboys didn't really have an impact on him. He had a pretty decent season for a wide receiver, but it didn't really affect the team that much. Let's see how they do in the postseason, though, as it has just started. They do lose to the Cardinals first round here by 10, 41-31. So that is a shame. But with Odell on the Cowboys, they go 9-7 and lose the first game wild card. Odell in the wild card game, 1 reception, 10 yards. Definitely didn't show up to the show, but thank you guys so much for watching. If you did, please drop a like and tell me what to do next for one of these Madden 17 situation videos.